Hello guys and welcome to RJ, little Rex. Rex's 2 week update, I'm sorry. This little guy is already 2 weeks old, basically 2.5. This is late, unfortunately. Let me kind of try to... it's not really working that well. I'm sorry, the light's coming in on that side, but little Rex is 2.5 weeks old. Yes, he is named after my husband. If you guys did not see the birth vlog or the name reveal, just letting you guys know so there's not like super confusion on that. So, yeah, this little guy is 2.5 weeks. Daddy went back to work today, so this is our first day by ourselves. Carmen is taking a nap. So what's actually crazy is that I did Carmen's 2 week update at this exact same spot in the nursery. His dresser is here now. Carmen's is on the other side of the room now, but her dresser was here. I'm actually going to link that video down below if you guys are curious to see. It's kind of crazy that I'm standing here doing this just a little over a year later. It's crazy how fast time flies. Speaking of that, I cannot believe that he came 2.5 weeks ago. Like, it feels like it was just yesterday, and I know that's such a corny thing, and I said it in plenty of videos with Carmen, but it doesn't seem like it. Like, I really feel like it's only been like a few days or something. Like, it doesn't feel like it, but it does. So getting to this little guy, as you guys know, he was estimated to be like 10 pounds. Like, that is insanely big. So I even went to a detailed ultrasound. My doctor basically did everything he could to make sure that he was going to be close, at least close to that big. So if you guys don't know, they kind of go off, which I didn't know this before, I would have said something, but they kind of go off the size of, like, the measurement of the baby's head and the measurement of the baby's abdomen, and sort of they kind of guess the weight off of that. So anyway, estimated him to be 10 pounds, and we kind of went over the risks of a vaginal birth versus C-section. And I really didn't feel very comfortable having a vaginal birth, and I feel like my husband, I always say my husband, Rex might have felt like, I should probably start saying my husband because I got two Rexes, but I feel like he kind of thought that I wanted the C-section, and trust me, I did not. I was scared to death. I don't know if he thought that, to be honest, but he just, I don't know, he wasn't for the C-section, but as far as his safety and just, I didn't want to end up going into being in labor for hours and hours and hours and having a C-section anyway. I really was scared of that because that would be just such a big disappointment after so much time gone by. You're waiting, and then, oh, you have to have a C-section because the baby's heart rate dropped or the baby's stuck or this or that. So anyway, flat out, I just opted for the, he's looking right at the laptop. I just opted for the C-section. So he was born on June 30th at 12:40 p.m. and he only ended up being 8 pounds and 13 ounces. When he came out, the doctor said, "What do you think, Rex? How big do you think he is?" And he looked over, he's like, He's like, "Do you think he looks big?" And Rex is like, "I don't know." Because he wasn't really that much bigger than what Carmen was. And then the nurse just shouted out 8 pounds, 13 ounces, and my doctor was like, "Really?" But what actually ended up happening at the C-section is this little guy was not engaged, which shocks me because I was having the worst pelvic pain ever. I thought for sure that he was engaged, and I had a look, my stomach was low and everything. I don't know, but he was just floating around in his fluid, and my doctor said I had a ton of fluid, like a ton, which explains why I was so big. But I mean, he was almost 9 pounds. He was still a big baby, but he was floating around in there, and the doctor couldn't even grab his head. And every time he would get his head, the baby would kind of just go back up. So he ended up having to literally flip him around and pull him out by his legs. So he was delivered in a breech position. He wasn't a breech baby, because I know there might be confusion with that because he was breech for a long time, but he wasn't breech at his delivery. He just had to be delivered in a breech position. So anyway, the C-section may not have been necessary, but at the same time, he wasn't even engaged. I wasn't making any progress whatsoever. We did think he was big, and I can't really blame my doctor because he did send me for a detailed ultrasound and everything. But the thing is, we just have babies with big heads. That's literally what it is. Carmen had a huge head. He has a huge head. They're both in the very high percentile for their heads. So we just have big-headed babies. So for the last baby, because we are planning on having a third baby in a few years. Not anytime soon, guys. But even if my doctor says the baby's big, I'm going to be having at least laboring, because I do have big babies, but they're not that large. So the next baby, I'm not going for a C-section because it is not as easy. As far as him and how he's doing, he is exclusively breastfeeding, which is amazing to be able to say at 2.5 weeks old, because Carmen was 3 days old and we were no longer, or no, I'm sorry, 5 days old, we were no longer exclusively breastfeeding. She was getting formula by 5 days old. So to say that we are still exclusively breastfeeding at 2.5 weeks and he's only had a bottle twice is amazing to say. And the bottle is breast milk, not formula. So yeah, this little guy's doing great with breastfeeding. He just wants to eat a lot and all the time, which is normal for breastfeeding newborns. So just trying to get through that kind of stage, but I'm also trying to soak in like the newborn stage because it just goes by so quick. And this is definitely like one of my favorite stages, is the newborn stage. I'm just trying to soak all that in. So what else, buddy? He was 8-13 at birth, and he dropped some weight, and then he brought some back, and he'll have an appointment at a month old. I think it's on the 8th. But I weighed him today. I stepped on the scale without him, and then stepped on the scale with him, and it said 9 pounds. So I hope that's right. That'd be great, because I'm just so nervous. He's doing so good with breastfeeding. I'm just so nervous that I'm gonna go to his 1 month appointment and he won't be gaining enough weight, and I'll have to like supplement with what I pumped, or supplement with, even with formula, which would be very devastating for me, just because I've worked so hard and he's worked so hard. So I really hope the scale's right. He just doesn't seem like he's getting that much bigger to me. I mean, he does, but he's just not chunky. I'm used to Carmen, who was always had rolls and chunkiness to her, and even as a newborn she was chunkier than him, bigger cheeks, and she was just chunkier, and he's very slender. I call him my little string bean because he's so like skinny, but he is getting bigger. I can see it like in his face, and it just makes me nervous. I've heard stories, and it just makes me nervous that he's not going to gain as much weight as he's supposed to. But as long as he's back up to his birth weight by a month, I'm pretty sure that's what's normal. And he was 8'2" at the checkup we went to at like 5 days old or 4 days old. So, or 5, he might have been, yeah, but he was 5 days old. And he was already back up to 8'2", so I'm pretty sure he'll be back up to 8'13" by a month. And like I said, my scale says 9 pounds. So, anyway, that's it for his health. He is so far an okay baby. I can't really say yet. I don't feel like at 2.5 weeks old you can say whether you have like a fussy baby or a needy baby, but right now he's pretty needy because he wants to eat all the time, and when he's not eating and awake, he's usually not very happy. Today he's done really good, I will say. thank goodness, since it was my husband's first day back at work. So today he's been pretty good, I will say, like amazingly good actually from the last few days. I think he might be going through his 3-week growth spurt a little bit early, and I think that might be part of it. I hope it's not going to get worse than this. But he was up a lot last night, and he's just needy right now. I mean, he isn't needy right now, but doesn't say he's going to stay that way, especially after 6 weeks. There's a big turnaround for breastfeeding babies, or babies in general. You know, they're new to this world. They don't know what's going on. They need your comfort all the time. They need to eat all the time. So, and breastfeeding just makes that a little bit harder because you can't just put a bottle in their mouth and know exactly what they're getting and know that they're getting enough or not getting enough, or so it just makes it a little bit harder, but it's worth it. It's worth everything to be able to breastfeed him and give him the best nutrients I can. And it doesn't cost anything. It's free, part of it too. And I don't regret my decisions with Carmen. I feel like at the time I did what was right for me and right for her, and she's perfectly healthy and she got breast milk. It's not like she never got breast milk. I do feel sometimes a little guilty that he's doing so much better than she did, but there's nothing I can do about it now, and she's a perfectly healthy, almost 15-month-old. So as far as postpartum, I'm feeling okay. The first, I'll say the first 2 days after your C-section is not fun. The first time I got up, it burned like heck. It just, my whole incision area just burned like it was on fire. And I'm not trying to scare anybody that's having a C-section, because it's really not that bad. After those first 2 days, I felt fine. I mean, I was sore. I still get sore, but it's not anything to be like terrified of. I was terrified before my C-section, and now if I had to have a C-section with the third baby, I wouldn't even be really nervous. It's not that bad. So as far as now, today I don't really have any soreness at all. I mean, maybe a little bit when I pick up Carmen, which I have to do because Rex went back to work. But other than that, I'm really not. Like today, I feel pretty much normal. I'm just tired. But I haven't had to take pain medication in over a week, which is amazing to not have to take pain medication, because when you have a C-section, you do have to stay up with your meds. I will say that. I'm going to make a separate video probably on C-section and C-section advice. But as far as right now, I'm feeling pretty good. Real fast, I'm going to do my postpartum belly shot because I want to get a close-up on him, and I only have like 2 minutes left. So this is, it's kind of hard with him. This is my postpartum belly for 2 weeks. And it's kind of really hard with him. But I feel like I'm losing it even faster this time than I did with Carmen, just because I've been breastfeeding so much. So it feels good to have some of that weight off. Oh, dinosaur just fell. It feels good to have some of that weight off, and I have total lost 34 pounds. Yeah, 34 pounds, which is crazy in 2.5 weeks. But anyway, I want to do a close-up on this little face before we run out of time, and he just fell asleep, so he's gonna be. Can you say hello? I can't believe I just did this with your sister not that long ago. Say hello. Oh, say hello. I was just sleeping. I just fell asleep. I just fell asleep, and now you're waking me up, lady. And now you're waking me up. Oh, he's very. He tries to hold his head and everything already, guys. He's crazy. Oh, you shouldn't be that hungry yet. Can you say bye? Can you say we'll see you when I'm a month old as far as updates go? I'm trying to eat my face. Alright, let's go. Bye, guys.